Oh, hi. Welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box, where today we're going to talk about the legacy and influence of Blue Oyster Cult. Now, interesting name to begin with. At the beginning, they were sort of a cult band, not in the sense that they drank the Kool-Aid, but in the sense that they had a loyal but not so huge following. Their first few albums were a really important stylistic bridge between psychedelic and hard rock. You could even say proto heavy metal. And insofar as they were, it was really interesting to hear how the psychedelia of the 60s sort of evolved into something more hard and a bit less flowery and a bit more black and white, a bit more sort of monochrome. Very interesting feelings. Their first self-titled album had a great hit, not a huge one, but a good one, Cities on Flame with Rock and Roll. I'm on the Lamb, but I ate no sheep. Great song. Tyranny and Mutation, a great second album. And the of the early albums, the one that's usually loved the most is their third album, Secret Treaties. Really, really good album. It features the track Astronomy, which was very, very much beloved. The next album was On Your Feet or On Your Knees. Very heavy metal name. Cities on Flame was a minor hit, but it was really in 76, several years after the debut, where they absolutely hit it huge. And that was because it was a really good album. It was definitely their most cohesive, and it was the one where the sound was starting to modernize, become a bit more hard rock AOR with psychedelic elements, but leaving some of the more out there psychedelia behind. Still, though, it still was consistent with their earlier work. Very well produced as well. I did I say what it was called? It's called Agents of Fortune from 1976, and this had a huge hit called "Don't Fear the Reaper" that everyone loved at the time, and it became a staple on FM rock radio right up until this thing behind me happened. And this was the world famous More Cowbell sketch on Saturday Night Live, which not only put the cowbell back on the map, but it put Blue Oyster Cult back on the map for a whole new generation. And now that More Cowbell has sort of become a meme, it's now even the younger generations are experiencing Don't Fear the Reaper. And it really is interesting because while the cowbell is certainly there, it isn't turned that high up in the mix, but if you listen, it is there. And who knows, maybe if they remix the album, we could have more cowbell. But back in the real world of 1976, that made the band something of a household name. And on their follow-up album, Spectres, they have one of my very favorite songs, in many ways, a quintessential rock and roll song of the 70s. And this is Godzilla. It just has such a great riff, wonderfully produced, really, really good stuff. 1979's Mirrors, wonderful album photo, if you ask me. The album before it, I should say, Spectres, also has another of my favorite songs by the band called I Love the Night. Something of a deep cut, but really good nevertheless. And then they came out with the hit Burning for You from 1981's another really good album, Fire of Unknown Origin. And as the 80s were on, they could still sell out big auditoria, but less so than before. But they always had a presence on FM rock stations because they had well produced, catchy rock songs with good riffs. And in the case of Don't Fear the Reaper, a really good guitar solo that Rick Beato has actually plunged into. The guys in the band have been interviewed at various times about the More Cowbell sketch. They love it. One, they all have a sense of humor because there's a lot of humor and sardonic lyrics and titles in the Blue Oyster Cult's catalog, and I think they're also thankful that it made them relevant again 30 years, almost 30 years after the initial song. So it's all love, and it just goes to show you that comedy and parody can really help revitalize a musician's career. And none more black. No more was this the case, I think, than with Will Ferrell and co. doing the More Cowbell sketch. So rock on, and as always, more cowbell. We'll see you next time. Take care.